Hi everyone. So this is a tutorial on how to use OBS as a streaming encoder to stream to Facebook Live. This is really useful if you want to use multiple media sources like pre-recording your worship or sermons or anything like that. You can also include images, screen captures, and all sorts of other media types. So I'm going to show you the basics on how to set this up. If you have any other questions, let me know via the church's Facebook page or my email. Here we go. Also, I apologize. This is a little bit of a rough cut. There's a little bit of background noise, and the entire youth group decided to text me when I first started to record this video. So I'm sorry there's some notification noises and stuff in there. I was trying not to interrupt the stream, so I apologize for that in advance.
Learn how to do live streaming with multiple media sources, and we're going to use OBS and Facebook Live, which I know a lot of you are already using Facebook Live, but OBS is a great free platform for Windows and Mac that allows us to use multiple media sources and combine them all together. So we're going to start by going to Google Chrome. If you don't already have Google Chrome, I suggest you download it because Facebook Live basically requires it. It'll allow us to do it on Internet Explorer if you're on a Windows computer, but it is really finicky. So for stability's sake, I highly suggest you install Google Chrome and do everything we're going to do on there. So first, we're going to go to OBS and just search that on Google. Open Broadcaster Software should be the first thing that pops up, and we click that. So you can see there's a Windows option and a Mac option here. Just click whichever you need for your computer. I have a Mac, and it'll start a download down here. I've already downloaded it, so I'm just going to go ahead and click that. And it'll open it here. Maybe. There we go. And it's going to verify. I'm going to cancel this one so it doesn't slow my computer down. There we go. So, on Macs, it asks you to drag this over into Applications. On a PC, it'll walk you through the instructions for installing it once you click on the download. If your browser doesn't have this nice little toolbar across the bottom, it will download it into your Downloads folder, and just click on it there. And so it's copying it to Applications. So now you'll see if we go to Launchpad on Mac, or if you go into your control center over here on a PC, you'll see OBS, and we're going to click on that. And it sometimes takes a second to open it up the first time it wants to verify it on PC or on Mac. And just make sure you're not installing all the viruses to your computer. And it'll sometimes ask if you want to open it because you downloaded it from the internet, and we do, because we know we downloaded it. So, yeah, we do want to do that. So we need to open that up in System Preferences, and it'll do that for me in just a sec. That's just saying that if we have other programs running, it will let us use those along with OBS, basically. So it's taking its sweet time opening up my settings here. Sorry, give it just a second. You get it all real time. I'm not cutting it for now. So, Okay, OBS would like access to the microphone. Yes. So, it's letting us bypass settings. So we'll leave that for now. Okay, so the first time you open up OBS, it should look like this. You hopefully won't have to do the settings finagling that I just did, because this computer isn't configured the same. So it'll ask if you'd like to run the auto configuration wizard, which we do want to do. It's way easier to do this than any other way. So if you are using this for streaming, which most of us are, we want to optimize it for streaming. Recording is secondary. And hit next. Leave these all at the basic. I prefer those. and hit next. And then the service we're going to be using is Facebook Live today, but you can see they've got lots of other options here, and you can hit show all and it'll show even more options. So we're going to hit Facebook Live, and now we need to go get a stream key. So this is where we go back to Chrome and go to our Facebook page. Oh, I left that open. So on your Facebook page, we've got, this is the one for my church here, okay? We're going to hit live right here, and immediately it's probably going to open up to this screen. You can see me there, hi. We're going to go to connect over here, which is the fancy version. Okay, one of the fancy versions, we'll get to that in a second. So you see you've got a stream key right down here. We want to use a persistent stream key. So what that means is your Facebook account is assigned a specific stream key so that every single live video you do will use the same key, persistent stream key here. If you don't have this use a persistent stream key checked, every single video you do will have a different key, and that makes it really difficult to use OBS. So we want to make sure that's clicked right here. Now we're going to go down to this persistent stream key box, and we're going to hit copy. Okay, and that copies it to your clipboard. And then we're going to go back to OBS and paste that right here. Okay, and you can see that's the whole key right there. And hit next. So it says the bandwidth test is about to stream randomized video data without audio to your channel. If you're able, it's recommended to temporarily turn off saving videos of streams and set the stream to private until after the test is completed. So you can see over here, I've got Chrome in the background here. We've got a preview screen set up, so I'm going to show you this side by side, kind of. So we don't need to set up a test stream right this second unless it asks us to. We're just going to leave it like this and let it run its test here. So we'll hit yes, and it's going to run a test. Hopefully it's quick. It usually is pretty quick, and you can see back over here, it's sending a test stream to Facebook Live back here. You can kind of see that screen changes there. Okay, and testing complete. And so that auto configures all those settings. And so we'll hit apply settings, and we're all set up to get started. So in OBS, it's a pretty simple platform. Over here we have scenes and sources. These are your two places where you'll live a lot. You have your audio mixer right here in the middle. You can see I'm talking, and it's registering me talk via the microphone on the computer. And so first thing we're going to do, we have a scene already kind of default here. We're going to add a source. So you've got lots of options here. Some of these are more complex, some of these are more simple, but the main thing probably a lot of you guys are going to want to do is just live video, right? So we're going to go video capture device here. Okay, and we'll call this my FaceTime camera, because that's what I'm using for my source on my Mac, or your webcam, or call it whatever makes sense to you. And we're going to hit OK. And then we're going to go here and select exactly what device. I've only got one option because I don't have any cameras plugged into my computer or anything, but if you have a webcam or a fancy camera or whatever plugged into your computer, it should show up here. So we go ahead and click that, and it'll ask if it can use the camera for security reasons, and we say OK, and you can see me there. Hi! Late night me. And we'll use the preset setting right there and hit OK. And then we want to drag this to the size so it fills the screen. If need be, center it. I like to leave a little bit of a black bar down here. I think that looks better. Some people like to put it kind of like that. Whatever looks good to you. So we've got this scene set up with your FaceTime camera. Now I'm going to add another scene, and we're going to call this opening image. So this is how you add a still image So what we're going to do is hit add once again, and this time we're going to hit image. And I'm going to call this opening image again, because for us oh, I've already used it. We'll call it opening pic. There we go. And so we use a opening image until we're ready to go live. So we're going to browse for that file. And it would like to access the files, and we'll tell it it's allowed to. So we'll hit desktop, which is where I have mine stored, and live stream opener is my file name right there, and hit open. And it'll show it right there, and hit OK. And then once again, we just stretch it to fit our screen, center it nicely, just like that. We've got that all set. The next thing I'm going to do, if you want to do pre-recorded video, so say you want to have your worship leader pre-record a video of worship and send it to you, and then do live video for your sermon. That's how we do it with our church, but you could do it the other way as well, or use all pre-recorded video, whatever you want to do. We'll create another source for worship, and we're going to do media source this time. So media source, we're going to do worship vid, like that. And browse. And I've got one right here of this song. And hit open. Okay. We don't want to have loop usually, unless you want the video to loop again. You want restart playback when source becomes active. That'll just make our lives easier later. And we want it to show nothing when playback ends. Okay? And we don't want it to do close file when inactive, because that means that it will not load as quickly when you want to play it. So we want to keep that unchecked. So just these two checked is good. And hit OK. So you can see it's a bit too big. So we've got to shrink this one down quite a bit to fit right there. And there's a video. So when you import videos, you can see down here we've got two audio things. We've got just our FaceTime mic right here, and we've got the volume of the video that we're playing, right? And at any time we can hit this button to mute those, just like that, okay? And that also applies when we're looking at even the opening image. So we discovered this on accident the other week. We had our opening image up and we were talking, and people could hear us in the background, and it was super awkward. So you want to make sure when you've just got an image up and you don't want to be heard, to mute yourself, just like that. And then when you're looking at FaceTime camera right here, you can see the audio right there, and mute, unmute. If people are commenting, hey, we can't hear you, that would be where you'd check first. So those are the three main things we use. And you can see every time I click these different ones, it switches between all the sources. And so that's all you do when you're switching. It's pretty simple. And every time I re-click this worship one, which is pre-recorded video, it restarts the video. So if you're troubleshooting, having issues, and you need to restart your video, go to this, go back to this, just like that. Okay? I'm going to put it on the image. I don't want you to see my ugly mug. Okay. So now, going back to Facebook here, want to make sure that persistent stream key is checked. It'll uncheck itself randomly. It's quite annoying. And so you've got options to add all sorts of info here. Over here you'll also see that Live Producer is a new way to go live. I really preferred Live Producer. It gives me a lot more options as far as marketing wise, but you can set it all up right in here. You can also schedule lives, which is pretty cool. But we can do that with Live Producer too. So I'm going to show you Live Producer because I really prefer this. And let it load here. So Live Producer just gives us a lot more options. So what we've been doing is scheduling all of our live videos. But if you just want to do a spontaneous live, or you've told your church you want to go live, then you can just go live now, which is this option right here. So you can see down here you've got this little tile that says waiting for live video, right? So if we go back to OBS and we click start streaming, it should start. And we go back over to Chrome, you can see it's switched to connecting to live video, and now you see the image we've got there. And if we go back over to OBS, I'm going to see if I can arrange these so you can see both, maybe. So if I click these other options, there's a bit of a delay there, but eventually this tile should switch to worship. It can be up to a minute delay. There we go, see? So keep that also in mind when you're live streaming. There's up to a minute delay. Right now we're operating 15 to 30 seconds probably. The longer your video goes, the longer your delay tends to go though, so keep that in mind. So we'll go back to our opening image for simplicity's sake, and you can see you've still got this little tile down here. So once this tile becomes active and it recognizes that you've got a stream going, this go live button becomes active, okay? So, and then also if you scroll up, you can see a bigger version of that, which is kind of nice. So going down here we got more options. There's the use a persistent stream key option, which you want to make sure is checked. All of this stuff is super extra, a lot of it is. Another thing I really like about the live producer is quick access to your live videos. So it creates a link for your entire, all your lives for your Facebook page. They're all in one place, ordered by when you posted them, and it'll put your upcoming lives, if you schedule them, at the top. And if you have any lives that are active right now, those will be at the top. So you can copy that and send it out to your parishioners. That has all the information, all of the lives, all in one spot, and it makes it super easy to find, because sometimes Facebook pages are chaotic and hard to navigate. So what we've been doing, I'm going to show you how to schedule a live, because this is what we really prefer for lots of reasons. So if we schedule a live video right here, we can schedule it for a date and time, share it to a page you manage. We're sharing it to Albany First Church of God, and you can add a title and say something about this video. So this is going to post, so when you schedule it, it creates a post for your schedule, and then it'll create a separate post when it actually goes live. They'll be linked together, so if they click the initial post, it'll take them to your currently live video, but it gives your congregants something to share on their Facebooks before you actually go live. So, and it will remind people that have acknowledged that scheduled post that you are going live, which is really cool. It reminds people to go to church. It's kind of neat. And we can also cross-post to more pages. So we have our sister page for our youth group that we cross-post to. You can also set audience settings down here. If you want to restrict your audience for any reason, you can. And you can select an image to use for the post when you schedule a live. And it's taking its sweet time doing that. So we're not going to set that right now because we really don't need that for the purpose of a demonstration. But you can see down here, this is kind of your announcement post preview. This is what a post will look like. It'll tell them what time they're going to go live. And it'll also give you this thing to share, and a URL will be created after the video is scheduled. So if we schedule this, we have that persistent stream key checked, double check that. And you can play around with these settings in here, but they're all pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, so once you've got all of this configured, right now it's not letting me click this schedule live video thing because I've set it for a time that isn't right, but you just hit schedule. What I'm going to show you is how to access your scheduled videos and go live through them. So once you've scheduled a video, you'll go to your page, just like this. We've got Albany First Church God, and scroll down. Give it a second to load because our internet's awful. And you'll see here, you'll have your scheduled live. Oh, our picture cut off, sad. And it'll say this little admin only, edit your details. You have to be a page admin in order to make all this jive, if you didn't already know that. So we're going to click that admin only, edit your details. And it'll bring up Live Producer if that's what you created it in. If you created it in the previous version that I initially showed you, it will show there. So this is what your thing looks like here. If you scroll down, you'll see you've got your title already in that we put in earlier, but you can say something about this live video. And so we'll say something there usually. If it's for Sunday services, we'll add our link for giving. Just basic instructions, telling them to comment their prayer requests, whatever, right in that box there. And if whatever you put there is saved automatically. So if you want to put something there after you've already scheduled it, but before you're going to go live and go away from the screen and come back, you can put it in there and then go browse the rest of Facebook and come back and it'll still be there. But it will not post until you go live after you've scheduled it. So yeah, we can put that in there. But I want to be clear, that's not for, so these two boxes look identical when you're scheduling, but since this is an already scheduled post, this isn't going to go live when I edit it. If you put something here when you first post the schedule, then it will show up, but right now it won't. So you can see down here there's enable manual mode. So if we have a live video right now, it says waiting for live video because I turned off OBS over here. But if you've got a live video streaming, so I'll go ahead and start that again so you guys can see what I mean. We'll hit start streaming and it'll show up here shortly. Give it a second. Takes a minute sometimes. And you know why it took a minute? I've been preaching to you guys about this. So it didn't error out, but usually it sends me an error code, but I do not have this use a persistent stream key checked. So we click that. And now it's streaming to the right place. That links your encoder, which is OBS, to your Facebook Live. You want to have those linked. And it's not syncing, so I'm going to stop it and start it one more time. There we go. You can see it connected down there. So if you're having problems, check that first thing. So we've got First Church of God down here, and it also has this nice little countdown timer. We've got 20 hours until this particular scheduled thing goes live. So you can see you've got manual mode over here. If you feel like you want to start your live stream a little bit earlier than you've scheduled, just to talk with people through the comments, or for whatever reason you want to start it earlier, you can enable manual mode and it will go ahead and go live earlier. Or if you've got your stream going and this countdown is clicking, as soon as it reaches the end of that timer, it'll kind of have a hitch in its giddy up. Everything will look a little bit different for a second, and especially up here, this screen will start to change. This screen over here will change to show your comments as they come in live. So your screen will just kind of morph as soon as this timer reaches 0, and that'll reflect that you're now live. You don't have to click anything other than start streaming in OBS and to be on this screen in Google Chrome. Google Chrome is super important. If you didn't already download that, download it. So the last thing I want to show you is how to end your stream. So you can see here I've got OBS set up, it's streaming, we're sending to here. When you are actually live, I kind of briefly covered this, but you'll be up here probably, you'll see this will be you, but slightly delayed, and then over here you will see comments. And down here, this button will turn into an end live stream button. So there's two ways you can stop your stream. You can either click this button down here, or you can go to OBS and hit stop streaming. If you end your stream by clicking it on Facebook Live, you need to, after you're done with that, you need to come back and hit stop streaming in OBS. It doesn't hurt anything, but it will slow your computer down if you forget to turn that off. Also, another thing I wanted to cover is when you go live, you'll have your comments over here, but I've noticed it can tend to be a little bit laggy sometimes. And so I find what really helps me is to pull up the live stream on my phone and turn the volume all the way down. That's really important because if you forget to, you'll either have an echo or, worst case scenario, a feedback loop, and you don't want that. So turn the volume all the way down, pull up the live stream on your phone, and watch the comments there. It tends to be a little less laggy, and you'll get comments a lot more real time. If there's any other questions you have, feel free to contact me through the church's page, Albany First Church of God. Also, I think my contact info is on the page, and let me know if you need anything. This is Ashley signing off.